what I'd like people to take away is that, well, some of the things he's talked about, some of the techniques he's mentioned, we could possibly use them in our, let's say, lifestyle, or we could use them in our business, if you like. What I like about the regiment, they have a very down-to-earth view on failure. We don't look at anything as failure. And what I mean by that is that the regiment is asked to do certain jobs, tasks, missions, and they're not scared to turn around and go, look, we can't guarantee the outcome of this particular job. But however, we want to take the job on and we will do our best. So there's many forms of we all want a positive outcome in whatever we do, but the regiment is realistic and said, well, we have a bunch of guys that are trained at the highest level, but we know that there's outside factors that may not bring about a positive outcome. I'll give a great example, which is the weather. Many times I've been on quite a few operations where the weather has played a massive part, within whether you carry that task out or not. Now, you have no control over the weather. Okay, so I think that realistic approach to whether you are successful or whether you fail, I think firstly, the regiment is not scared to take on any task. And I like our motto, which is who dares wins, which gives you that, the effect of you've got, a system which is driven. You've got a bunch of guys that are saying, yes, we're willing to take this task on. And yes, we want a successful outcome. But at the same time, there's certain things that we can't control, and it may not turn out the way we want it to. But what I do like with that sort of attitude is that you will always get the outcome that you want as far as success, but it just depends how successful it is. No one wants failure, and we don't look at it. I see things a lot, especially on the internet now, about you must fail many, many times and over again. And I think, to a certain extent that's fine, but there comes a point where you don't want to fail. You want success every time, and what you do, you try to eliminate as much as you can. I've just mentioned about the weather. You can't eliminate that. So the realistic approach, I think, really works. We will always take a job on. We will always do our best. We will always want a positive outcome, but no matter what the outcome is, we always see it as a success. And what is good from success itself is that when we've actually done that operation, we have certain views that will go, right, how successful was it? How good was that operation? What did we do right? More importantly, what did we do wrong? And I think that helps for the future. We do a thing, lessons learned. So what did we learn from that so we can have a better outcome in the future? And I think this is a great view of the regiment. Someone once said that's why the regiment hasn't become a dinosaur. We all know what happened to the dinosaurs. They've become extinct. Is that the regiment is always willing to better itself. How can we be better next time? And I think by having that view of success and failure, saying, well, everybody wants a positive outcome, a successful outcome. But however, it's not always guaranteed. But I think having that realistic approach towards it, I think really helps. And the regiment's very good at that, The thing that surprised me most was that how normal everybody was. As you can appreciate, the regiment has got a reputation around the world. And I think when I went up there, and I'm expecting everyone to be about 6'5", everybody's stronger than everyone else, faster than everybody else, more intelligent than everybody else. But what I really found is that everybody were just normal working class guys. That suited me because I come from Sheffield. I'm a working class guy, come from the steel city. And it was really nice just to see how everyone was normal, if you like. But what I did like is that you soon realize that you are working in a higher echelon of guys. And what I mean by that, I was mixing with guys that had climbed Everest, that had been on Arctic expeditions, people that had rowed parts of the Atlantic, could speak multiple languages. and were very highly trained in all sorts of areas of, if you like. And what I also liked is that the atmosphere up in the regiment is that they wanted you to be the best you possibly could be. So the regiment wanted, they were going to put time into you, money into you, effort, courses, and the attitude was, we want you to be the best that you could possibly be in any area. And that's a great feeling. It wasn't a feeling that you're the newcomer. It was a feeling that you proved yourself by being selected, if you like, coming through the selection process. And now we want you to be the best. And you could see that everybody was at the top of their game, and they wanted you to be the best, which was a great feeling, because as you know, sometimes you can start a new job and you're nervous, and you're the new guy on the block, and you've kind of got to work your way up. Well, what it wasn't attitude at all. It was, we want you to be the best. We're willing to help you. We're willing to put money, time, effort, train you the best you can. And we want you to be on your A game, if you like. As you know, in the regiment, you get trained in specific things, like DEMS and signals and medics. And well, everyone was highly trained in everything. You'd be having techniques like how to free fall from high altitude using oxygen, how to climb rock faces, how to deal with diving in the sea. So some of the things that you do are very, very highly technical. But the regiment is willing to invest in you. So it was so apparent that even though everyone around you was just very, very normal, everyone was at the highest level of training. And it was really, really exciting, because, I'm thinking, ooh, I want to be like these guys. And the reputation of the regiment precedes it. And when I got there, I was thinking, this is exactly what I want to do, and I'm exactly in the right place. Yes, I think what I'd like them to take away is firstly, is that if they look at me and say, well, okay, Des has had 8 years in the parachute regiment, he's had 20 years in the SAS, and some of the things he's talked about today, let's class them as pearls of wisdom, if you like. He's talking from experience, but we can see that Des is just a normal guy. He's come from Sheffield, working class, and it's not that he's special, but maybe that he may have been in a unit that was special itself. It's actually in the letters itself is Special Air Service. But I think what I'd like people to take away is that, well, some of the things he's talked about, some of the techniques he's mentioned, we could possibly use them in our, let's say, lifestyle, or we could use them in our business, if you like. Or we'll take them for what they are, pearls of wisdom, because I think I've noticed nowadays, and I mentioned it earlier, is that in the civic sector now, in the corporate world especially, a lot of corporate world is reaching out to guys like myself that have worked in environments and worked for such as the regiment, and that has a success format. And they look at what has been termed now is that the SF mindset, the Special Forces mindset, the SAS mindset, if you like. And they go, well, if that has worked so successfully within the military, especially within the SAS, well, then that format, that procedure, okay, might be used within the civic sector, as I've mentioned. So I think guys like myself, where if I've taught like I have today, if someone can look at me and go, well, he's served in, probably the most famous regiment in the world, that's got to speak for something itself, okay? And then he's talked about the things that he's done and the formats and the ethos and the way of life, etc., etc. And he's still here today being able to talk about that format. Well, then that itself has got to be a successful way, that SF mindset. So I think I'd like people to take away those pearls of wisdom and actually use them to their best advantage, if you like. As I said, the corporate world now is getting very, very interested within the SF mindset. And me personally, I think that yes, I think it can be used as a template, if you like, and can be used in any area, especially within the civic sector.